Hey and welcome, I'm Hammeh, and welcome to my Push Play Overwatch Guide series, where we get you into battle with Overwatch's heroes as quickly as possible with quick tips in just 3 or so minutes. Here we focus on general playstyle and simple tips to get you going. For more in-depth guides, subscribe for my longer guide series coming after these are done. In this episode we're introducing Pharah, daughter to a famous mother, decorated military veteran and infamous bringer of justice from above. Countdown to guide start initiated.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Pharah is a mobile offense class character and should be played as a frontline damage dealer using her vertical movement ability to flank, poke and surprise. Her rocket launcher does great damage with splash damage, Jump Jet allows her to soar into the air to poke and flank, Concussive Blast knocks back both enemies and Pharah, and Barrage unleashes justice with a stream of mini rockets, devastating an area of defences or grouped enemies if they get caught in the explosive rain. Check out the Overwatch website for more in-depth videos of these abilities. Pharah is at her best when supported to hit groups of enemies with little room to manoeuvre, or when using her mobility in long range to pick off and move key static targets, often from unexpected angles. Here's a couple of simple things to try do as Pharah. Do try and lead your targets with your shots. Direct hits are all well and good, but splash damage is your friend, particularly if you're new to FPS or projectile heroes like Pharah. Get practicing to try and aim where enemies are most likely to run to, rather than aiming where they are now. Then you can build your reactions to adjust from there. Very handy, particularly against fast-paced heroes like Tracer or anyone moving erratically. Also, don't be afraid to lead some shots and spam a corner where enemies are likely to come around. Do practice moving erratically. Pharah's flight can be predictable both in terms of a jump jet boost into the air and the gliding down afterwards. She's 200 hit points, so can be shredded with some decent fire. Remember the words of Patches O'Houlihan: dodge, duck, dip, dive and dodge. Making yourself hard to hit with short bursts of jump thrust and strafing in the air, both flying up and gliding down, can buy you some time, definitely in my case, to try and get a few rockets on target or close to it. Do remember the power of Concussive Blast. Get this right and it's free kills on certain maps. Find those sweet spots where you can start knocking people into the great wide yonder and get your booping powers ready. Here's a few things to try and avoid as Pharah. Try not to justice from above all the time. Remember, Pharah is a big target when using her ultimate. She's immobile and vulnerable. It feels awesome, but there's no faster way of dying often than launching yourself up into the air with Jump Jet than using Barrage in the middle of a pack of enemies. Mix it up a bit. Try flanking, standing on the floor, using partial cover, or hiding behind your tanks. And remember, a Justice only scoring a couple of kills is better than being dead with nothing to show for it. Try not to fly everywhere or glide everywhere. Now Pharah is very vulnerable to hit scan heroes, particularly over long, clear sight paths. Those that point and shoot, like Soldier 76 and McCree for example. Her air movement is slightly slow and unwieldy. Holding down glide as you descend is sometimes the worst thing you can do. If you're having trouble in these matchups, try attacking from off angles, distance or on the ground, or maybe consider a switch. One thing to remember, Concussive Blast has a sweet spot. If you fire directly on target, you're not going to get a big knockback or any at all. Fire too far away, you're not going to get any either. Practice getting that sweet in the middle spot, near but not directly on an enemy, to push them or a group of enemies the greatest distance. Pharah is generally a pretty strong pick on a few maps and game modes, but she can shine on particular maps and when combined with certain teammates. Here's a few thoughts on when to pick her. Do consider her on control maps firstly. Any place where people are forced to group up, which you are on control, and where there are edges of the map to blow people off of, is prime Pharah country. Your enemy team should expect this, so zone and make sure you move appropriately. Sometimes your very presence in an area will discourage people from taking certain routes without you having to fire a shot. Do consider her on maps where there's vertical flanking paths and room to manoeuvre. Temple of Anubis, Hammeh, and of course the control point maps all have some fun routes for you to explore that can allow you to pop out and flank enemy positions from unusual angles and places. Great in terms of distracting as your team pushes for an objective on attack or breaking up enemy attacks from weird angles on defense. Finally, do consider her when you have a Mercy who's willing to pocket heal you. The Pharmacy, as the combo is called, is an evil team up when played well, regardless of situation sometimes. If you've got 2 competent people, it can be a quick play pub stomper if not checked. Consider a switch or not to pick Pharah in confined small spaces and cap points where you're going to be hard pushed to find a good spot to barrage or move and snipe effectively with your rockets. Also in areas with long clear sight lines that leave you vulnerable to snipers, when the enemy team has large amounts of hit scan heroes, or you don't have a support who can keep you regularly topped up or damage boosted if you find yourself standing in action and unable to get back to health packs. Finally, here's a couple of top tips or strange but trues. Top tip: Concussive Blast actually knocks you back as well. This is useful for moving yourself in escapes, saving yourself sometimes from being thrown off maps, and a whole bunch more. Experiment and practice with it. Thanks for tuning in to my quick guide to Pharah. I hope this gets you playing and experimenting with her playstyle in-game as quickly as possible. If you like this video, be sure to like, comment and subscribe for more vids coming soon. I also run regular Overwatch Hero Story, World Lore voice line and interaction series, so do check those out on the channel as well. Thanks for tuning in, I've been Hammeh, take it easy.